In this video, I'm going to do my best to explain how the economy works in Don't Starve Hamlet. I have decided to do this because while I'm currently working on a Don't Starve Hamlet survival guide, I feel like Hamlet has a lot of mechanics not imperative to your short-term survival, the economy being one of them. However, the economy becomes more important as you survive longer, and eventually will become your favorite and most profitable mechanic in Don't Starve. So that is why this guide is being made. Let's start with the currency that these fine pig residents use. The currency in both Swinesbury and Palace City is oinks. 1 oink is worth, well, 1 oink. There is no inflation. However, there are derivatives of oinks. The 10-piece oink is worth 10 oinks, and the centipiece oink is worth 100 oinks. Oinks can be obtained in a myriad of ways. First, let's go over the ways that simply involve labor and no trading. Cleaning. If a pig villager witnesses you picking up poop in the streets, they will run up to you and pay you 1 oink, but only once per day. It seems the residents of Swinesbury and Palace City have a strong tipping culture. Unfortunately, that seems to be the end of the labor you can do with no tools or items, as any other source will require a trade, besides taxes, but that is far later on. Let's go over my personal favorite ways to make money early game. This means only the pig traders available in Swinesbury will be mentioned here. Finding a relic out in the jungle or in the ruins and then returning it to a brown coat pigman will net you a 10-piece oink each. This is by far the best way to make money early game. It does, however, require braving the rainforest and potentially the ruins. However, most of the time the rainforest will have all the relics you need for early game spending, and the rainforest is not actually that dangerous. Okay, well, what if you used up all of those relics and need a new way to make some money? Well, there are 2 ways to make money using the Shears, which can be crafted in the Adventure tab of the Science Machine. The absolute best way is by trimming hedges, and then selling those hedge clippings to the closest yellow hair pig woman for 1 oink each. Each hedge trim provides 2 clippings, so it's essentially 2 oinks per trim. Another, lower quality way is to make your way into the jungle, and any non-aggressive vines can be sheared to produce 1 rope, which can be traded to the construction pig for 2 oinks each. Now, I say lower quality because despite the wiki claiming that this pig has no trading cooldown, in all of my experiences, he does have a once-a-day cooldown for selling, like most pigs. However, the hedges do not have this same cooldown. If you are playing as Wheeler, the absolute best way to make some money and easy food early game is to use your pneumatic horn to safely dispatch Thunderbirds, and then sell their feathers for 2 oinks each to the pink-haired pig woman. This same effect can be achieved with any character using ranged weaponry, like the musket or a boomerang, but Wheeler's pneumatic horn gets a significant edge thanks to using anything as ammo. This trade can only be done once per day, but there are usually many pink-haired pig women, so you should be able to quickly convert any stacks of thunder feathers into oinks easily. The green vest-wearing pigman is a very hungry boy indeed. He will accept these food items in return for 4 oinks per day, a very great trade. However, these food items are not readily available in the world of Hamlet, and will most likely require either theft or some prior setup to obtain. And finally, there's the low-cost, low-reward trades. These will be trading petals to the gray hair pig woman. This is a 1-to-1 trade that has a cooldown, or if you have a surplus of resources, the miner pigman and the farmer pigman will take stones and grass and twigs respectively. This is also limited to once per day. Let's say you manage to make your way over to Palace City. Well, now, not only has your shopping list expanded, so has the ways to make some good money. One resident who lives in both Swinesbury and Palace City is the tuxedo-wearing pigman, who accepts any gem except for purple gems for 10 oinks each, with no cooldown. This is a great place to offload any extra gems that you may not use. Although I would only advise selling blue and red gems as they are easily renewable. The others are pretty hard to obtain. The gray coat pigman who lives in Palace City is also pretty awesome. He accepts a myriad of items in return for 3 oinks each. This can be a great way to offload trinkets. But if you plan on linking a Reign of Giants world, to your Hamlet world, then I would advise not selling those trinkets just yet, as they can be converted into a nearly limitless pile of oinks late game. Also, do not sell this guy your stingers or silk. He pays significantly lower than 2 other pigs that we will go over later on. Funny enough, most shelves in his shop will sell trinkets for just 1 oink each, meaning you can come out in profit with just a few oinks. However, he will never restock these shelves, so it is limited. Late game, this guy does become an oink generating machine, and one that you will sell to a lot when you don't want a cooldown, as he has no cooldown. The hat-wearing pig woman who lives in Palace City will accept silk once per day for 5 oinks each. If you have been battling tons of spider monkeys and have no use otherwise for that silk, this is a great trade. This trade becomes significantly more powerful when you have linked a Reign of Giants world or Shipwrecked world, as silk is far easier to farm en masse in those worlds. And finally, the brown blouse-wearing pig woman accepts 1 nightmare fuel for 5 oinks once a day. This trade only gets stronger as you survive, because once you have access to the Ends Well, which lies in the Apocalypse Calendar ruins, you will have an endless source of nightmare fuel. What is late game exactly? Well, once you have linked this world with your Reign of Giants world or a Shipwrecked world, I would consider that late game. Don't know how to do this? Well, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because when I release my ultimate Don't Starve survival guide, it will be a topic I for sure cover. Anyways, back to money. There are 2 trades in particular that stand out as some of the best trades for late game. We will start with the weaker of the 2. The blonde beard chop pig accepts hound's teeth, stingers, or hippo antlers for 5 oinks, once per day. Anyone who plays Reign of Giants or Shipwrecked knows that both stingers and hound's teeth can be acquired en masse very easily, making this a huge trade late game. Although if you have a stinger surplus, the gray coat pig may be worth it for the reduced value because of his no cooldown factor. And finally, the moment you have been waiting for, the absolute best late game trade, but one that basically requires you to have traveled to the other worlds, Mayor Truffleston, who accepts 1 gold nugget for 5 oinks. Now, any Hamlet player would see this trade and assume it is a total ripoff, and in Hamlet it is, as gold is very hard to acquire. However, Reign of Giants players will know that feeding the Pig King trinkets or even eggs will provide a nearly limitless stack of gold nuggets, making this trade the absolute fastest way, alongside the gray coat pig, to get rich quick late game. There is also tax collection, but that comes after you build your own pig city, and that will be a segment of its own. Spending money. Something that I am far too good at doing in real life. Let's go over all of the shops in Swinesbury and what trades are the best, especially early game. Before we start, however, I do need to inform you that shops work on a rotating supply chain. Unfortunately, sometimes the item you are looking for will not be in stock. There are 2 ways the shop will re-roll items on the shelves. Buying an item forces the shopkeeper to re-roll the item that you just bought. And every morning, there is a 16% chance calculated for each item to re-roll. Each shop generally also has a back shelf that contains items that will never be restocked, meaning once you purchase them, they are gone forever. With that said, let's talk about the first shop on this list. The first store on this list is the General Store. The list of items sold here as well as their price are on screen now. The most notable trades are the Miner's Hat, which for 20 oinks is not a terrible trade, Flint, which for 1 oink is a great trade if you haven't found Flint yet, and Cloth, which is incredibly valuable and hard to obtain in the Hamlet DLC. This, however, becomes useless once you unlock Shipwrecked. They also sell firecrackers during the Pig Fiesta, but that will be a part of its own segment because it is tied to an event that is quite crazy. The back shelf of the General Store contains 4 cut grass and 4 rocks, each costing 1 oink. Next up is the Mud Spa. Now this is one of the better shops in the game. On screen now are the trades, and man, almost all of these trades are worth it. Unfortunately, the Mud Spa's back shelf sells petals for 1 oink each, which most likely will be spoiled by the time you even step foot in the store. so it will actually be 1 rot for 1 oink. This is probably the most niche store on this list, the floral store. This store will be one of your favorites if you plan on living in Hamlet long term. The most notable trades on this list has to be dragon fruit seeds, which if you don't know make one of the most powerful crockpot food items with just a dragon fruit and 3 twigs. Also, the berry bushes for 2 oinks each is an insane value. Not to mention you can actually make a profit off of these thanks to the green vest pigman accepting berries for 4 oinks each. On the back shelf, she will sell seeds, which unfortunately will also most likely become rot before you buy them. Ah, the grocery store. This store is probably one of the weakest when you start out, as none of these food items are very valuable on their own. But once you get a crock pot, this store becomes an absolute powerhouse. For example, using that banana which costs just 1 oink, a piece of ice which also just costs 1 oink, and 2 twigs in a crock pot, you will make banana pops, one of the most powerful sanity management items in the entire game. This store has no back shelf. The deli. As you can see and probably guessed, this shop sells crock-pot food. And honestly, it's all pretty overpriced. But you are paying for the convenience here, so that's okay. However, that makes almost none of these trades notable, as this shop is really only good early game and only in an emergency. The back shelf has food items which will most likely rot. However, those eggs rotting are actually more valuable because rotten eggs can be used to make boom boom powder. This is essentially the bank of Hamlet. As you can see, most of these trades are just to swap out your oinks for higher valued oinks. However, you can buy gold nuggets for just 10 oinks. Not a bad trade in the grand scheme of things, as Hamlet makes gold incredibly hard to find. The back shelf has a myriad of items that can actually be helpful early game, but mid to late game, I would just leave them as decoration. Now, this shop is more of a place to sell things. As you can see, the only things that can be bought in this shop are oinks for relics. However, the back shelf does have great value items. 3 whole trinkets for just 1 oink each. You can either snag these and head to the Palace City to make a profit, or, better, save them and head to Reign of Giants to make an even bigger profit. The choice is ultimately yours. The final unique building in Swinesbury also offers the most interesting purchases. Here you can buy the deed to a home, which allows you to live in Swinesbury, house expansion permits, which will allow you to make your house larger on the inside, demolition permits, which are self-explanatory, and a security contract, which can be used to befriend pig guards. There is no back shelf. Let's head on over to Palace City now. The first unique shop on our list for Palace City is the Oddities Emporium. And my goodness, does it have some amazing trades. Here you can find all of the boss drops from Reign of Giants, making defeating them there useless. You can also find gears and other miscellaneous goodies. On the back shelf you have more trinkets, which again can be sold for a profit, or to the Reign of Giants Pig King for some easy gold nuggets. This is the magic shop located in Palace City, and these trades are actually pretty good, albeit expensive. However, the Dark Sword is a straight up scam unless you are in early game, as 1 living log for 5 oinks will basically be all you need to make one, since Nightmare Fuel is easy to obtain. But again, you are paying for convenience. This shop's back shelf also sells trinkets. The weapon shop of Palace City, which should be called the scam shop. I mean, seriously, none of these trades are good at all. I mean, maybe the cocoa nades can be useful for hunting in the ruins, but that's only if you are too lazy to make gunpowder and have lots of oinks to burn. The back shelf just makes it so much better, as he sells 4 twigs. Goodness, this place sucks. Now this is what I'm talking about. This shop is a min-maxer's dream. The absolute best place to get a pith hat for humid season. And, as an added bonus, moggles for just 20 oinks? I mean, that is a no-brainer deal. I don't know if I can justify a repair kit for 50 oinks, but hey, she makes up for it with that other stuff. The back shelf is nothing special. 4 grass and 4 rot for 1 oink each. Now, I'll be the first to admit, this shop is kind of weird, and mostly overpriced as you can see. A walking cane blueprint for a whopping 500 oinks. I'll stick with my stalking stick until I head to Reign of Giants, thank you. Most of these blueprints are also pretty useless. You would never use the Ibrella in humid season because it slows you down, unlike the Pith Hat. And I mean, scale mail? Come on. Anyways, this is what the back shelf looks like. Pretty boring. And with that, that's it for the places to spend your oinks. Now it's time to go over the thing that plagues any civilized society: crime. Both you, the player, can commit crimes and have crimes committed against you. Besides just straight up attacking the pig villagers, the only true crime you can commit is theft. Let's go over that now. There are two ways to steal stuff from the pig villages. In the rural areas of the pig villages, you will usually find hardworking farmer and miner pigs. Unfortunately, that stuff they have lying there, like those radishes or petals, are not for the taking, as taking these items will be considered stealing, even if it was truly an accident. The pig guards that reside in that small outpost will immediately become hostile to you, and these guys have a surprisingly long memory, so you will either have to fight back or avoid that area for a very long time. I also forgot to go over the swashbuckler's hat. It's not very useful. It lets you rob places without being remembered. It's very weird, so I just ignored it for this guide. You guys probably won't end up using it anyway. That's not the only way to steal from the pigs, however. Believe it or not, you can actually steal from the pig shops, and the game recognizes this as something you can do. It's a little more complicated, however. First, use a pan flute to knock out the resident pig shop owner. Then, take as much as you want without paying. Be warned, however, that this will cause your naughtiness to go up by 6 for each item stolen, and Krampus can and will spawn inside the building. Also, stolen items will never regenerate, so only use this as an absolute last resort, and don't take more than you need. Unless it's the weapon shop, because seriously, that guy deserves to get robbed for those prices. Unfortunately, you as the player are not the only one who has crime on their mind. Walking around with those hard-earned oinks will attract the shady individuals who cloak themselves in shadows and strike when you least expect it. Get hit by one of these guys and it's bye-bye all of your money. The guards are also unfortunately kind of corrupt. As you can see here, instead of chasing down that criminal, he instead decides to take my money. I don't understand. It's so sad. Sick of having to follow the rules set up by others? Well, luckily, Hamlet allows you to actually build your own pig city, but be prepared to work for it. Head on over to the palace in Palace City. There you will meet Queen Malfalfa, who won't accept oinks. She only accepts royal relics. The regal scepter, which can be found in the BFB island, the jeweled truffle, which can be found in the ruins that head to the Palace City, the royal crown, which is dropped by the Queen Womant, and finally the blue sow, which is found in the ruins that lead to the Pugalisk Island. The royal crown, however, is worth keeping unless you haven't unlocked Wilba, as it provides a massive 4.4 sanity a minute while worn, and never breaks. Once you trade any of these items to the queen, she will gift you a key. This can be used to unlock items from the royal exhibit. The item you need to unlock if you want to build your own city is the key to the city, which allows you to build any of the pig shops and pig houses. Although you probably will also want to unlock the executive hammer at some point, as this allows you to destroy any of the pig city buildings in case you misplace something, which, let's be honest, most of us misplace something at some point. Once you have the key to the city, all you have to do is find a place you like, farm up some pigskin, and get to work. Believe it or not, you can even make a pig city in the world of Reign of Giants or Shipwrecked, making this one of the most powerful items in the entire game. A great way to farm gold is to head over to the Reign of Giants and repeatedly build and destroy either the Oddities Emporium or the Flying Pig Arcane Shop. This is because they will always sell 3 trinkets for 1 oink each on their back shelf. Then hand them to the Pig King, and you will have more gold than you even know what to do with. You can also build the Slanty Shanty in any world you like, meaning you can finally have some beachside property if you build it in Shipwrecked, or a beautiful forescape in Reign of Giants. Be aware that being inside of your house does not protect you from freezing or overheating. In life, only 2 things are certain: death and taxes. Luckily for you, taxes are only helpful in the world of Don't Starve. After making your lovely pig village, build yourself a city hall, and every townhouse you create will produce 1 oink every 10 days. This doesn't seem like a lot at first, but the returns are limitless. Just ensure that you remember which day is tax day, and take a stroll through town to enjoy all of the pigs giving you their hard-earned money. Be careful not to miss tax day, however, as pigs will not pay you back taxes. And there you have it. That is basically everything you need to know about the economy in Hamlet. I hope this helped some of you get rich in the world of Hamlet. And hey, in return, if you could leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you are not, that would be a huge help. This has been Polarlotus, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.